Speaking of, I don't know, elite females, power players in politics.
Yeah. Let's check in with old Chris Shillzilla here.
Oh, yeah, baby. There's only one way.
Shill for sure.
That's right. Chris Shillzilla over at The Point, CNN Politics. He's surviving. He is surviving the shifts happening over at CNN, but decidedly different tone. Today, he comes with an analysis. The whispers of Hillary Clinton 2024 have started. Ooh.
Whispers, huh?
Yeah, the whispers. In the immediate aftermath of the Supreme Court's monumental decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, conservative writer John Ellis took to the internet to make a provocative case. Let me slowly read that again. Conservative writer John Ellis took to the internet to make a provocative case.
Is this Chris Shillzilla pulling off some kind of Aikido move? Where
this
like a conservative,
a lot of different people pulling an Aikido move.
Okay.
Yes. Right. Conservative writer John Ellis took to the internet to make a provocative case. It was time for Hillary Clinton to make another political comeback. Quote, "Now is her moment," he wrote. The Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade creates the opening for Hillary Clinton to get out of stealth mode and start down the path towards declaring her candidacy for the 2024 Democratic presidential nomination.
Oh my gosh.
So you mentioned the Aikido move, the trickery going on here. Number one, some trickery. Remember, I've been obsessed with this idea that it's actually a backroom Democratic establishment move to do the Roe v. Wade. Mm-hmm. You know, Democrats have used Roe v. Wade to hold their voters hostage for 50 years, never codifying it, but using it over and over as a threat that if you don't vote for us, then Roe v. Wade will go away. And you don't want that, do you? And the fact that Roe v. Wade being overturned is the thing to make a conservative writer cheerlead for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Ever heard of her? To make a comeback in 2024 for president sounds like a perfectly executed classic Clinton strategy. Now, I don't have any more evidence, but the case continues to build. On the other hand, you've got an Aikido move coming from this Ellis fella, John Ellis. I mean, the whole reason Trump ever ran was because Hillary pulled the strings to get Trump nominated for the Republicans because she thought, surely there is no way that I can lose against this buffoon. Mm-hmm. And that didn't work out well for her. So it seems, I think possibly John Ellis and Chris Shillzilla kind of plays with this idea, but John Ellis kind of trying to push the Hillary thing, knowing that Trump won the first time. Maybe that's the way to win. I don't know, but these are all possibilities. Chris continues, Ellis's argument is centered on the ideas that one, President Joe Biden, who will be 82 shortly after the 2024 election, is simply too old to run again. Wait, Ellis is far from Hillary? The only person. Yeah, I don't know. Look it up. And two, the Democratic bench is not terribly strong. He's not the only person eyeing a Clinton reemergence. Writing in the Hill newspaper, Democratic pundit Juan Williams makes the case that Clinton should become a major figure on the campaign trail this year. Quote, Clinton is exactly the right person to put steel in the Democrats' spine.
She's
and
74.
Bring attention to the reality that ultra MAGA Republicans, as President Biden calls them, are tearing apart the nation. Williams writes, adding, quote, keep talking and talk louder, Hillary. So just how far-fetched is a Clinton candidacy? And then he kind of goes through the stuff we kind of already know. He says, we'll start here that a conservative writer is leading the charge, at least at the moment, for another presidential bid by Clinton should be looked at with some healthy skepticism. No candidate unites the Republican Party, even with Donald Trump as the GOP's likely nominee, like Clinton does. So this may be a bit of wishful thinking by Ellis. Keep that in mind. Yes, we will. Then go to this. Biden is giving every indication that even at his advanced age, he is planning to run again. The New York Times posted a piece Monday night headlined, quote, Biden irked by Democrats who won't take yes for an answer on 2024. It's just pretty funny, but so sad. Poor guy. Then he gives an example of that.
I like how Chris writes like he's just chatting with you. Just let me just give you the down low.
You know, but it's you're right though. That's always been his style, but he's much more formal than he ever has been.
He is. Yeah, he's a little more. He's got his suit jacket on.
Mm-hmm. Suit jacket. And then finish here. Clinton has been pretty close to Sherman-esque in her denials about even considering another bid. Then he links to the sort of explanation of what Sherman-esque statement means. A Sherman-esque statement is a clear and direct statement by a potential political candidate indicating that he or she will not run for a particular office. The term is blah, blah, blah. You get it. Some of these answers are kind of funny. When she's asked, I'm not going to read this part of the article, but when she's asked over and over, here's some of her responses. If she's going to run. No, out of the question. First of all, I expect Biden to run. He certainly intends to run. It would be very disruptive to challenge that. Things like this. In an interview with CBS Tuesday morning, Clinton said she couldn't imagine running again. Host Gayle King rightly noted that Clinton's answer wasn't a definitive no.
Oh, gosh, there's a chance.
Analysis. So you're saying I couldn't imagine running again. So you're saying there's a chance. So if you're a betting person, and of course there are odds on Hillary running, and they link to an actual gambling pool, I think. Yeah.
Chris, what are you getting into, man? Don't eat where you do the other thing.
Journalistic integrity here. Yeah. Go gamble, folks. The smart gamble is that Clinton doesn't run again. With all of that said, we know that circumstances change, and that changed circumstances can lead to changed minds.
Wait, the smart gamble that Clinton doesn't run again because you got money on that, Chris? Is that what's going on here? Are you trying to influence the public?
Yeah. Does he have personal gain based on if she does or more people getting into the pool? While I find it utterly implausible that Clinton would run against Biden in a primary in 2024, I also think that an open nomination, if Biden takes a pass on running, would be something that would be hard for Clinton to not at least look at. That's not to say she would run. It's only to say that her name would get bandied about if the seat was open. That's a lock. Nice analysis.
It's a lock that her name is going to be mentioned.
That somebody is going to mention her.
We can lock in a lot of stuff.
Brilliant analysis, Chris.
Hey, we're going to talk about, they're going to bring up Bill Gates' name in connection to vaccines. It's a lock, baby. A lock.
It's a lock.
Guaranteed it'll come up.
The bank. Then there's the Roe decision to consider. Clinton's comments about not running again came before Roe was decided. As someone who has fought for women's rights throughout her career as the First Lady, U.S. Senator, and Secretary of State, might the Supreme Court's ruling have changed her calculus somewhat as she looks to her own future? Again, the chances are very slim that Clinton runs again. But they aren't zero.
This is hilarious. This is like Chris getting the memo, like, hey, we need to be more balanced. So he's like, well, let me take this conservative argument and agree with him at the end in like not directly all the way, but just sort of loosely agree that, she should.
Well, the talk about Roe, the talking point of, this makes us go back in time. This pulls us back to a different time in history. We're going backwards.
Yeah. Don't forget to set your clock back 50 years.
What a better response to the Supreme Court sending us back in time than Hillary sending us back in time.
What if she shows up running and they did some genetic age reversal thing on her and she's like, 33 again.
She's like smoking hot and 33. That could get it.
Bill has a heart attack. Yeah, it's all good.
I thought, is he still alive?
Bill, yeah.
Okay.
He's I don't think he was doing well, but
against all odds.
I think he's still kicking along.
So there you go. Chris Shillzilla talking about Hillary. People, the whispers.
Sure.
And I think the whispers are mostly coming from Chris.
He whispered this entire article to existence. You should have just read it whispering.
It's going to be on my ASMR podcast. I'll read this article for you.
Yes. I want to contrast American politics here with a little bit of Japanese politics, just briefly. And you have Hillary Clinton potentially running again, a female, the first American female president, potentially still in the cards. But in Japan, different things. Oh, no. Are you telling me I have to create? Oh, no, I got a paywall. It just ruins everything.
It's
okay.
Bloomberg, man.
Yeah. Do you want to do the
always
headline?
get paywalls on Bloomberg?
I thought I already got around it, but I guess not. I just got to do it.
Hack the mainframe.
I know, I'm working on it.
Deep.
Hold on. Let me play this here break thing.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Break. Give me a break. Break.
Give me a break. Load. It was not enough time.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, I have the headline here. It's
okay.
A 33-year-old female fights old boys club in Japan election.
Okay.
Japan ranks 147th globally for women's political empowerment. A record number of female candidates enter upon upcoming election. She's 33 years old. She's, get this, she's Uyghur. I'm sorry, I said that weird. Uyghur. You know the Uyghurs in China? She's a Uyghur descent. So she's like half Uyghur and half Japanese, I think. And she speaks 7 languages.
Impressive.
And that's what the future of world politics is up against. I wish I can give you more, but I have run into all kinds of problems with showing the clip.
Do you have family who have an opinion about this?
I don't know. I have not inquired all the family yet.
Gotta check in, man.
Yeah. Well, what she did talk about in her name here, let me get her name. It is, good. Oh, it's Arfia Eddy. Arfiya, last name Eri, or maybe it's backwards. I don't know. I don't know how the U.S. does the thing because, in Japan, the last name goes first. But yeah, she talked about how the Japanese politics doesn't reflect the population. It's a bunch of old boys club. It's the same old people, all men, and it really hasn't changed much. While the culture has completely changed into more diversified and whatever. So this was probably long overdue in some sense. But for to come in,
is that not usual? Female politicians in Japan?
Not as much.
It's interesting because in pretty much everywhere else in the world, female politicians or at least, female leaders is not very strange. But except for the U.S., of course, as far as the executive branch goes. But that would make sense if the Japanese is a little bit, or Japanese politics is a little bit closer to the U.S. I don't know why, it just feels right.
Yeah. Okay. I got the article here now. We don't have to go through it here, but let me get a couple things in. In one of the world's most homogenous countries, Eddy who speaks 7 languages, stands out. If she wins, she'd join a tiny number of naturalized Japanese lawmakers and probably be 20 years younger than most members. Let's see the background. She's like
the AOC of Japan.
Yeah. So she's got, she's Uyghur heritage with her father's side and Uzbek heritage on her mother's side. Eri gained Japanese nationality as a child. She moved to Shanghai at the age of 10 for her father's work, and after attending American schools in China, graduated from Georgetown University in Washington and its graduate school. The upbringing, so she's very tied into Western systems, I guess, educational systems. So
maybe she's a CIA gal.
Maybe, and she's 33, making her move. You know, so it's just something to point out. In world politics, it's obviously Japan, far away. I know, isolated, but also building all the robots. So I'd imagine, the whole transhuman thing. If there's any people group or any nation that really embraces like upgrade, enhancement, brain connection stuff, I can see the Japanese people doing it, especially, a lady that speaks 7 languages already. She's like, hey, I want to learn the other, how many languages? What is it? 200, 300? I forget.
I think there's
170 thousands. Sure.
There's 190 countries. 190
maybe that's what
something.
I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. A little contrast with Hillary and something to keep in mind as we continue on here. Yeah. Okay. So let's
wait, George. What? I'm sorry. Did you say Georgetown grad school?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's CIA then.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh no. Yeah. Georgetown University in Washington. Yep. Yeah. And and she went to, Japan, Shanghai. So she was in China too. Really sus.
Yeah. Maybe
really
she's
sus.
a double agent. She's a CIA CCP.
I mean, she's a Uyghur. She's 33.
She's a Uyghur.
She's running politics in Japan. She went to Georgetown. She lived in Shanghai. I mean, man, if there's a politician that's going to melt some nations together.
She's the Japanese Hillary, or AOC more like
AOC, yeah.